Welcome to Sports Rewritten, where we reimagine the biggest what-ifs in sports history. On a rain-soaked night in June 2016, a moment of profound heartbreak sent shockwaves across the footballing world. The images are etched into history, a dejected Lionel Messi, head bowed, walking away from the penalty spot. After another final lost, another dream deferred, a weary voice declared, "For me, the national team is over." We all remember what happened next: the global plea, the fan-led rallies, the president's phone call. Messi returned. He wrote his final, perfect chapters. But what if he didn't? What if that retirement, born of frustration and despair, had been permanent? This is not a story of what was, but of what could have been. Welcome to the Phantom Legacy, a stark, alternate timeline where Argentina's footballing soul, unmoored from its captain, drifted into a sea of endless what-ifs. The road to Russia, a campaign on the brink in our reality. Argentina's qualification for the 2018 World Cup was a torturous, nerve-shredding affair. Entering the final match day, their fate hung by a thread, and it was Messi who, in a display of sheer willpower, scored a match-winning hat-trick against Ecuador to single-handedly drag his country to the tournament. In this parallel universe, that moment of divine intervention never happens. Without the galvanizing presence of their talisman, the pressure on a fragile and underperforming squad becomes unbearable. The weight of a nation's expectations falls squarely on the shoulders of players like Sergio Aguero and Gonzalo Higuaín, whose history of missing crucial chances now defines their every move. The team, lacking a true leader on the pitch, is disjointed and devoid of inspiration. The hat-trick in Ecuador, which in our timeline was a lifeline, becomes a statistical anomaly that no one can reproduce. Instead of a triumphant, last-minute qualification, Argentina fails to secure a direct ticket to Russia. They are relegated to a playoff against a tenacious opponent, where their lack of cohesion and confidence proves fatal. The unthinkable happens: for the first time in decades, Argentina does not qualify for the World Cup. The news sends the country into a period of mourning. The FIFA, Argentine Football Association, already in disarray, descends into total chaos. The global spectacle of the World Cup in Russia unfolds without one of its most iconic nations. The golden generation retires without a single major international trophy, their legacy forever tainted by the final, collective failure of not even making it to the biggest stage. Russia 2018, a team without a compass. Even if, by some miracle, Argentina had scraped into the tournament, the outcome would be no less bleak. In our world, the 2018 World Cup was a testament to the team's complete reliance on Messi. He was their creator, their conscience, and their only hope. Without him, the tactical plan, which often amounted to give it to Leo, would collapse entirely. Jorge Sampaoli, a coach who never truly found a stable system, would be left with a squad of talented but misaligned individuals. The famous 3-3 draw against France, a thrilling spectacle in our reality, would become a definitive loss. Kylian Mbappe's electrifying performance would still happen, but there would be no Messi to score the key goal against Nigeria or to set up the equalizer against France. The team would be eliminated earlier, probably in the group stage. The image of the team's disarray, a symbol of their broken spirit, would be broadcast around the world. The narrative of Messi's absence would be written in stone. The rise of Scaloni, a different story entirely. The story of modern Argentine football is inextricably linked to Lionel Scaloni, the unheralded assistant who stepped into the managerial role and, against all odds, built a family around Messi. But what if Messi wasn't there to build the team around? The project of the Scalonita was one of patience, trust, and the central, unwavering presence of its captain. Scaloni built a system designed to liberate Messi, to surround him with the right players who could take the pressure off. Without Messi, there is no foundation. Scaloni's tenure would have been a short, forgettable experiment. The Federation, still reeling from the World Cup disaster and the lack of a superstar leader, would have likely opted for a more established, high-profile coach. This would have denied Argentina the stable, long-term vision that Scaloni provided. The team would have remained in a state of flux, cycling through coaches and tactical philosophies, never able to develop the cohesive identity that eventually led them to glory. The two triumphs, the Copa America and the World Cup, this is where the Phantom Legacy becomes most tragic. In 2021, Messi finally lifted a senior trophy with Argentina, the Copa America. That final against Brazil was not just a match, it was the culmination of years of pain and sacrifice. The winning goal, a delicate chip from Angel Di Maria, was a moment of grace, but it was Messi's leadership and his emotional plea to the team that set the stage. Without him on the pitch, Brazil's powerful, confident team would have been the clear favorite. The game, in this alternate reality, ends in a victory for Brazil, a fitting coronation for a team that has not only won on home soil but also solidified its dominance over its eternal rival. The ultimate act of heartbreak is the 2022 World Cup. In our world, this was Messi's masterpiece, the tournament where he transcended his status as a player to become a divine figure. He scored in every knockout game, inspired every teammate, and willed his country to victory. The penalty shootout against France, a moment of pure drama, was built on the collective courage instilled by their captain. Without him, the entire narrative collapses. The team that arrives in Qatar is not the Scalonita but a fragmented squad led by a different coach. The magical passes, the moments of genius, the emotional rallying cries from their captain are all absent. The early loss to Saudi Arabia, which in our timeline was a shock that Messi's leadership immediately overcame, becomes the beginning of the end. There is no comeback. The team crumbles under the pressure and is eliminated in the group stage. The final is still an epic encounter between France and a different powerhouse, but it is one without the narrative arcade of a country seeking redemption and a star chasing his destiny. The immutable legacy. Ultimately, this alternate history is more than just a thought experiment. It underscores a profound truth. Messi's return was not just a historical footnote, it was the single, most important decision that allowed Argentina to reclaim its footballing identity. His presence on the pitch transcended his statistics and became a source of unparalleled confidence, inspiration, and stability. Without him, there are no trophies. There is no redemption. There is only a story of what could have been, a legacy of sorrow, and a country still waiting for a hero to return home. Messi's decision to come back didn't just change the course of football history, it saved a nation from a future defined by perpetual heartbreak. It granted them, and him, the beautiful, cinematic, and triumphant ending they so richly deserved. This has been Sports Rewritten. If you enjoyed this alternate sports history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more what-if sports stories that change how we see the game. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What should we rewrite next? Until next time, keep the game alive in every timeline.